Imagine, if you will, the most iconic cinematic romance of a generation. The grand, sweeping staircase of the RMS Titanic, glittering under countless crystal chandeliers. The fierce, liberated gaze of Rose DeWitt Bukater as she stands at the ship's bow, arms outstretched into the Atlantic gale, with Jack Dawson's steadying hands on her waist. The frantic, heart-pounding races through flooding corridors as the unthinkable becomes horrifyingly real. And the ultimate, devastating sacrifice in the freezing North Atlantic, a whispered promise to never let go, echoing into cinematic immortality, all set to a score that still stirs the soul decades later. This is the tapestry of James Cameron's 1997 epic, Titanic, a film that didn't just entertain, but embedded itself into the global psyche, becoming a shared emotional touchstone for millions. A film that soared to a staggering $2.264 billion at the worldwide box office and clinched a record-tying 11 Academy Awards, including Best Picture. A monumental achievement that crowned it not just a movie, but a cultural phenomenon. And at the absolute heart of this phenomenon was Leonardo DiCaprio, whose portrayal of the charming, penniless artist Jack Dawson transformed him overnight from a respected young actor into the most famous heartthrob on the planet. His face plastered on every magazine cover, his name sighed by teenagers across the globe, his performance forever linking him to a character of pure romantic idealism. Yet, in a revelation that feels almost as shocking as the ship's fate itself, DiCaprio has confessed that he has never, not once in the 27 years since its release, rewound the tape, re-entered the cinema, or streamed a single minute of his own biggest blockbuster, the very cornerstone of his 35-year career. This singular fact, that the man who lived Jack Dawson has exiled himself from ever revisiting him, opens a profound and multifaceted window into the nature of fame, the trauma of creation, the artist's restless journey, and a surprisingly universal lesson about the courage required to let go of our own past masterpieces. To understand this deliberate avoidance, one must first reckon with the sheer, overwhelming magnitude of Titanic mania that engulfed DiCaprio in the late 1990s. It was a level of superstardom so intense it bordered on societal hysteria, creating a deafening noise that threatened to drown out the actor himself, reducing him to a two-dimensional poster boy for a specific, saccharine brand of love. For an actor like DiCaprio, who had already shown a propensity for complex, darker roles in films like This Boy's Life and The Basketball Diaries, this hyper-typecasting was a creative prison, a gilded cage constructed from box office receipts and fan adoration, but a cage nonetheless. His decision to never rewatch the film can be seen as a foundational act of psychological self-preservation, a conscious uncoupling from the Leo persona the world worshipped, allowing him the mental and artistic space to dismantle that idol and rebuild himself as a serious, formidable actor, a journey that would lead him through the cunning depths of Frank Abagnale Jr. in Catch Me If You Can, the obsessive genius of Howard Hughes in The Aviator, the brutal frontiers of Hugh Glass in The Revenant, for which he finally won his Oscar, and the grotesque satire of Hollywood in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Each of these roles served as a deliberate step away from Jack Dawson's open-hearted optimism, a proof of range and a reclaiming of narrative control. Furthermore, the physical and emotional ordeal of filming Titanic is legendary, a marathon 160-day shoot that ballooned over schedule and budget, plagued by rumors of a runaway production destined to sink 20th Century Fox itself. DiCaprio and his co-star Kate Winslet endured weeks of shooting in a massive, chlorinated and freezing water tank, battling exhaustion, physical discomfort, and the psychological toll of simulating mass panic and death for hours on end. For DiCaprio, the memory of Titanic is thus intrinsically linked not to glamorous premieres or golden statuettes, but to a profound sense of survival, a trial by icy water and relentless pressure. To re-watch the film would be to relive that trauma, to see the polished, perfect final product, and remember the grueling, often miserable process that birthed it. This perspective reframes his choice not as a dismissal of the film's artistry or its impact, but as a necessary boundary between the lived experience of the artist and the consumed artifact of the audience. There is also a powerful, evergreen wisdom in DiCaprio's stance, a lesson for anyone who has ever achieved a defining success: the danger of becoming a curator of your own past,
endlessly polishing a single trophy while the future passes you by. In our modern age of digital nostalgia, where social media algorithms constantly serve us memories and throwbacks, the act of not looking back becomes a radical assertion of presence and forward momentum. DiCaprio, by refusing to dwell on his greatest popular triumph, ensured he would not be haunted by it, that he would remain hungry, restless, and focused on the next challenge, the next transformation. This is the ethic of a true craftsman, one who values the process of becoming over the idolatry of what has been. So when we sit down to watch Titanic for the 5th, 10th, or 20th time, as so many of us do, finding comfort in its epic scale and timeless romance, we are participating in a ritual that its own creator has consciously abstained from. This dichotomy is fascinating, our enduring embrace of the film versus his permanent distance from it. It highlights the beautiful, often unbridgeable gap between the artist's intention and the audience's reception, between a private memory of hard work and a public monument of emotion. Leonardo DiCaprio's journey from the bow of the Titanic to the pinnacle of his profession, all while carrying the weight of a character he never revisits, is a testament to formidable will and artistic integrity. It asks us to consider our own relationships with our past triumphs and asks a simple, haunting question. What masterpiece might you need to leave behind in order to create your next one? How many times have you watched it? And what would it mean to never watch it again?
Where you can direct a voice, create realistic dialogue, and so much more. Add these placeholders to get started.